Brandy Koski with dietsandreview.com, and with me today is Kithe Brewster. He's a celebrity stylist, and while you might not recognize the name right off, you will recognize his work and that he's dressed Tyra, Beyonce, Gwyneth, and even Cynthia from her recent Real Housewives of Atlanta wedding. How are you today, Kithe?
I'm really good, Brandy. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, for sure. It's great to talk to you. So, Kithe, you have recently joined the Duke Diet and Fitness program so that you can lose weight, and you've said you're doing it so that you can live and you can completely change your health. At your highest, can you tell us what your weight was?
Yeah, actually, the great thing is that my entire journey is being documented, and there is a webisode series which premiered a week ago on everydayhealth.com, which basically documents the entire thing. From the moment I arrived here in December, I came to the Duke Diet Center for the first time on Thanksgiving, the weekend after Thanksgiving. I moved down to North Carolina for 1 month, and I went to the center every day while I was there, and I lost 22 pounds in that first month. I started at a weight of 300 pounds, which you'll see on my web series on everydayhealth.com. You'll see when I weigh in at 300 pounds and, what my blood pressure was when I checked in, what my cholesterol level were, and they were both extremely high, which, is the reason why I decided to do something about my health. Probably 6 months before that, I fainted at one of my fashion shows in Miami. I had been on a strenuous schedule, so I thought maybe, whatever happened, it had to do with the fact that I had just been traveling and not very well rested. But in fact, it was my high blood pressure level and my cholesterol level that were sky high, and something had to be done. I didn't have any more choices. Something had to be done, or I probably wouldn't be here any longer. I was very close to being diagnosed as a diabetic, and very close to probably having a stroke.
Right. So that's a rude awakening that you kind of happened on. Some people get to kind of ease into it, I guess. Were you not really aware of what was going on inside of your body?
Well, when you lead the kind of very busy, hectic lifestyle that I lead, from plane to plane, hotel to hotel, traveling all over the world to do what I do, one often neglects themselves when their concentration and focus and passion is on their work. Being someone's personal stylist. I was Heidi Klum's personal stylist for 3 years. I traveled all over the world with her and her family, and she made appearances, did 2 different talk shows at the same time. She was taping Project Runway. I did all her wardrobe for 3 years. So every outfit during her first 3 pregnancies. It's just a lot that you end up taking on, and that was just one client. I was still simultaneously juggling, doing covers of tons of other magazines and other celebrity appearances, as well as, doing one person. So it's just an example of how busy my lifestyle can be, making, the best dress list happen over and over again. It requires a lot of work and a lot of concentration. And I guess I'm guilty of the fact that I just neglected myself so much, Brandy, that I had the unfortunate realization of just experiencing the shock of knowing, wow, this is completely out of control. Everything has spiraled completely into a horrible and unhealthy direction, and I have to fix it now. That was what. And fortunate for me, the Duke Diet Center was presented. However, I'd known nothing about this amazing place prior to that. It's something I'd never considered because I never knew it existed. So, it just depends. There have been a lot of people in fashion who've gone there, but everyone who's gone there has been remotely quiet about the fact that they've gone there and made the changes. I wanted to celebrate the fact that I made these changes, and I want to help other people, and I think that I can reach millions of people, and that is what, I think the reason why this has happened for me and the reason that it's happened in the way that it's happened, and I'm very excited to share it with the world. I'm very excited to share it with anyone about making great choices in your life and starting to make a change, I began by walking. I was way overweight, and I began by walking around a park that was 1.5 miles circumference, and I started with one trip around that park, and I worked my way up to 4. And before I knew it, I was losing weight. I started to change the diet. For me, it's been a very simple diet. I only eat fish, so that's been a really great part of my slimming down. It's just making choices of good protein and good vegetables and good fruit. And that's the bulk of my diet. But what we learned here at the Diet Center is that we can eat as much of that as we need to. And you still aren't going to pass those caloric levels because your caloric intake on, just say, a piece of chicken and great vegetables, you can eat as much as that to fill up as possible. What we have to learn is that, healthy choices can be amazing, and you can have as much as you need to be fulfilled without overeating and without eating things that are going to clog your arteries, that are going to be bad for you.
I think we all panic that you're giving up so much when I think a lot of people, when they start going through a weight loss journey and start discovering those healthy foods, they find that you actually gain so much more. The food's better, you feel better.
I feel so much better. And I have to tell you that I want to shout it from the mountaintop, because I really do feel that much better. In only a few months, December was only a few months ago. We're still at the beginning of the year, and I started off, December was a great time for me to pull away from my work. It's when atypically I would have my break is during December, or things slow down for me, and then I take the first part of the new year. But, you make that note, I'm going to make a change every year. We say, we're going to start off the year, and I'm going to make that healthy change. And then by mid-year, you haven't made that healthy change.
Right.
But all I can tell you is that people are dying younger and younger every day. We're hearing about heart attacks at 40, 45, strokes, brain tumors. All these things are conducive of unhealthy living. And once you start to get into it, you just get more and more into it. And I must say the Duke Center is one of the most amazing places because they really know how to treat it. They really know what to do. And the DukeDiet.com, their online program, is fantastic. And it's what I live my life on when I'm back to my busy, hectic schedule in New York, when I'm working on these crazy photo shoots for 18 hours. I log on in between. Every studio I work at or wherever I'm working at, I generally have, access to the internet, so I can take 5 minutes, log on, figure out, a healthy plan for the day. With the online service, you get this newsletter every morning between 3 and 4 a.m. It's there for you whenever you start your day to have a quick perusal and be able to go through it, log your calories in, log in whatever meals you're in, look at recipes to plan exciting meals for you, to keep it all exciting. And learning how to dine out is one of the key things that we learn here, and one of the things that is emphasized and focused on the website as well. You have to learn how to go dine out and still be able to enjoy your life, because that's really important for me. Loads of my meetings and these sort of things are at dinners at, fancy restaurants and that sort of thing. And you want to still be able to go to that and enjoy. You don't want to be able to go to a restaurant and feel like you're being left out.
Well, the point of regaining your life, the point of regaining your life is to be able to live it. And if you're shut up at home because you feel like you can only eat carrots and brown rice, then that's not really living.
And that's what I think that most people think. I think that most people think, I'm never going to be able to go to a restaurant anymore. It's just the choices of the restaurants. Well, you can't go to Olive's and have those fantastic breadsticks or, all these different things that are going to be detrimental. But you can go to an amazing restaurant, have an amazing piece of meat prepared for you, whatever your choice is, have amazing vegetables prepared, and start to explore other seasonings besides salt.
Exactly.
We have grown accustomed to the taste of salt, and we don't know what food tastes like anymore. one of the most amazing realizations of being here at the Duke Center again was discovering the taste of food. I now, Brandy, enjoy food so much more. I enjoy my broccoli, my zucchini, my vegetables more. And I found incredible herbs and seasonings and spices to put on all sorts of different things. And, you know, one of the things that we have here is at the center they prepare all of your meals with no sodium and very little oil intake. But you have an amazing rack of spices and herbs and all sorts of things that you can choose from every day to enhance your meal, to make the taste buds what you think you need in order to be fulfilled. And believe me, once you start experimenting with that, there's so many amazing flavors that you can unleash.
Yeah, the choices are endless. Kai, I want to ask you, you work in an industry where parents sells. I'm wondering, was it never an issue for you, or how did you make it a non-issue with your weight?
Well, you have to understand that, you know, firstly, you know, my weight, I think over the last 2 years really, you know, got out of control, even more so. But when I started to have a weight issue, I'm a master at styling and wardrobe, so, you know, I was able to conceal it. You know, the shocking revelation about the webisodes already, you know, only being on for 10 days or so, the response from people in the industry and clients and people who I've worked with, they had no idea I weighed 300 pounds. You know, I'm very good at masking the way that I look, so I was able to cover it up, believe me. A lot of people, even there were a lot of queries in the media and stuff because I was on The Real Housewives of Atlanta this season as a guest star, and I came on as the wedding planner and planned my best friend's wedding. There's been a lot of, you know, talk about that because, firstly, you know, I do A-list celebrities, and I'm now doing a housewife on a, you know, reality show. Well, that housewife happens to be my best girlfriend of 25 years, and about 18 years ago, I promised her no matter when she got married that I would do her wedding and I would do her dress and that I'd be there. So it was amazing to be able to keep my word on that. But that was the beginning of my weight struggle when I was down in Atlanta going through that. I had already started to change the diet, and it started the working out, and it started abstaining from things that were bad choices for me. And that was really prior to going to the Duke Center. But the high blood pressure was raging. You know, it was still very much out of control, and so was the cholesterol. And basically that wedding was back in July, the actual wedding took place. By August into September, I was already really starting to really feel it, and I was making much more of an effort, and I'd started to lose quite a bit of weight before I even went to the diet center. But I knew I needed to get to the next level, and I knew that I needed to lose a lot of weight. And I knew that was going to be a process. And, you know, when I had exhausted my own techniques and everything that I was trying, which were very successful on my own, I can only say that it was a godsend that the Duke Diet Center was brought into my life. And as I speak to you, I am really close to pushing to 50 pounds already. And that is my goal. I'm here for a 2-week intensive back at Duke Diet Center before I go abroad again and travel for a bunch of work for a couple of months. So it's exciting to be back at Duke since I haven't been here since December. And it's exciting to just have a little time away to work even harder on my whole project. And planning to do a big reveal, and I'm already I want to do this reveal on Ellen DeGeneres' show, so I'm campaigning because she campaigned to be on Oprah's show. So I am campaigning to be on her show to show the world like what you can do if you put your mind to it in 6 months. So I'm halfway.
Who's going to make you dance? Are you going to dance when you get there, Kite?
Only if that's the only way I'll go on the show is that I get to dance. And I've decided to that I will, for Ellen only, you know, I will go down to a bathing suit or something of that nature. But I want to do the reveal on Ellen DeGeneres, and I'm going to say that everywhere I go until they call up my publicist and decide that I'm coming on. But I think her show is a great way to reach America the way that I want to, and I think that she'll be supportive of it, and I think she'll be enamored with my work, and she'll give me a chance to reach millions of people. And that's what's important.
I think that's a great medium.
I think I want everyone to understand that, it's not an endorsement deal in the sense that I'm being paid millions of dollars to talk about my business. I'm being paid by being allowed to come here whenever I can and being really super well taken care of. And I left in December with a complete 100% bill of health. I'm on no medications. I'm in no risk at this moment of diabetes. My cholesterol level came down over half the amount, which was sky high when I checked in December.
Right.
And and we're pushing toward 50 pounds right now. So I'm completely motivated and excited to talk about what I'm going through, and I'm working very, very hard, and I'm going to continue to work hard. My initial goal was 60 pounds, as you may have read. I'm going to increase that by a large number, and I'm really pushing toward 100 pounds by the end of my journey.
Awesome. Well, Kite, you sound like you're mentally you're exactly where you need to be, and it sounds like you're making some great strides, and I love that you're sharing your journey with so many people who need to hear it, and hopefully, kind of have their awakening before a collapse or, some major health issue. I wanted to ask you a couple of... Oh, go ahead.
No, I'll say this note. I wanted to just say something as a final note, but I will do that after your questions. Go on.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to ask you a couple of quick fun questions. So I'm curious if you were able to take the time to dress anyone for the recent awards season and who we might have seen your work on.
Actually, I was just so overwhelmed with this whole project and the fact that I do and consult with fashion designers. And I did 3 fashion shows at New York Fashion Week, which was just finished, a few days ago, really.
And then just one last question before we go. Do you have any spring 2011 fashion tips?
Yeah, well, the thing that I would suggest is that the 70s were really, really big on the fall runway. We saw glimpses of that coming through in the spring already with the maxi length. It's kind of amazing to see those bohemian looks again when women can wear, flat, gorgeous sandals with a long skirt. I find that something really sexy about a skirt that's longer, that isn't quite as revealing, that doesn't always show everything. And you can pair that with a blousey top if that's what works for you, or something as simple as a tank and a really great belt. There's a lot of longer lengths. Take a longer, a full-length sundress and then put a little cardigan over and belt it. Great ways that are younger. I mean, it's just age-appropriate. It can go, the gamut from a young girl at 16 to, a woman in her 50s or 60s or 70s even can work those silhouettes and make it hip and modern and cool and still very age-appropriate. So I like to suggest following some of those trends from the 70s, which a lot of people will be excited that are coming back because they were into those, if they experienced the 70s. And if you didn't experience the 70s, here's your first chance to play around with some of those silhouettes.
Perfect. Well, Kite, it's really been great catching up with you today and hearing all about your journey, and everybody can continue to follow your weight loss journey over on Everyday Health as you go through the Duke Diet and Fitness program. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, and good luck hitting that 100-pound goal.
Well, I'm hoping to reach it, Brandy, and thanks for having me. And everyone go to dukediet.com and start your weight loss journey, and you can come along with me and we can do it together. And you can write me on Facebook or any of those places that you find me. And I'm within every second I can, I try to answer as much mail about the diet as possible. So everydayhealth.com, watch the webisodes, follow me, and dukediet.com to start your diet today.
Perfect. Thanks, Kite. Take care.